we welcome you for our today's Chaitanya Charitamrita class, and we thank you to taking our call, our invitation to give your association. And those who have already read Prabhu's credentials, or just I'm going to briefly give a summary. It's not enough for telling by unqualified person like such a exalted personalities. But whatever I got about him is this: his Grace Satchitananda Prabhu is a very senior disciple of Nitya Lila Prabhu, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. And Prabhu has been involved in ISKCON last 30 years. And his specialities is he does very nice kirtan, all kinds of Vaishnava bhajan. He gives lecture, seminar on Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavatam, and all kinds of Vaishnava teachings. And Prabhu often travel many parts of the world, including Europe, South America, North America, Russia, etc. And presently, His Grace Satchitananda Prabhu has been very actively involved in Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group, Bhagavad Bani, and of course ISKCON activities. And he has been dedicating his service to his Gurudev and His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Now every week this Prabhu has been involving in Harikatha. If you want to get touch with Prabhu in his classes and his lectures, please visit bhagavad.ca or pureseva.ca. I think instead of I'm talking too much, let's Prabhu have the floor, and welcome Prabhu again. Thank you again, Prabhuji. Dhanava Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. And I am very fortunate to be and serve His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prithvicha Adi Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Hoi Be Mor Nam Prachar. Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON, which is a branch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu itself, the Gaudiya Vaishnava branch, is there in every town and village. And so I am fortunate to serve ISKCON Calgary. We will start today with a quick bhajan, a little bit of kirtan, and then we'll go into the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because this Chaitanya Charitamrita is the ultimate summum bonum, is the glories of Srimati Radharani. I will start with a bhajan which everybody is familiar with, Rup Goswami's Radhe Jai Jai Madhav Daite. Hare Krishna. So those of you all have that bhajan on your smartphones or your tablet, please feel free to and also we are going to be displaying that on the screen. I believe Pankit Prabhu is going to be displaying it. If he is not host, can one of the media or the technical department make him? He's in the waiting room. Pankit Shah. He's our technical coordinator at the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group. And many thanks to the entire team of ISKCON Calgary and the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group.
He is in, Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, so we will start with the bhajan Radhe Jai Jai Ma. Before that, a little bit of Mangalacharan. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Glorifying Srimati Radharani is non-different from the main theme or the message of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So let us start by this exalted Vaishnava bhajan composed by Srila Rupa Goswami, who was none other than Rupa Manjari, one of the most intimate servitors of Srimati Radharani, and of course, Siksha disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Karuni Mandala Mahite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Karuni Mandala Mahite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Gokula Karuni Mandala Mahite. Haribo. Damodara Rati Varadhana Veshe Hari Nishakuta Vrindavi Pineshe. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. O Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Vrishabhanu Dadi Navasashi Lekhe Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe. Vrishabhanu Dadi Navasashi Lekhe Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe. सनक सनातन वर्णित चरिते राधे जय जय माधव दैते करुणा कुरुमाई करुणा भरीते सनक सनातन वर्णित चरिते राधे जय जय माधव दैते राधे जय जय माधव दैते जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे जयतां सुरतो पंग मम मंद मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्भोज राधामदन मोहन जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे राधा मदन मोहन राधे राधे दिव्य वृंदारण्य कल्पद्रुमात् श्रीमद रत्नांग सिंहासनस्थो श्री श्री राधा गोविंद देव पृष्ठाली सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि राधे गोविंद राधे गोविंद राधे गोविंद राधे Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe. Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi, Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi, Vamshivata Sthitaha, Karshane Swaner Gopi, Shri Gopi Nathaya Shriyastuna, Radha Gopi Natha, 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 Radhe Radhe Radhe. Jai Radha Madhava Srinath Ji, Radha Madhava Srinath Ji, Radha Madhava Srinath Ji, Radha Madhava Srinath Ji. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar Lalita Vishakha, Radha Shyama Sundar Lalita Vishakha, Krishna Balarama, Jaya Vrindavana Dhama, Jaya Krishna Balarama, Jaya Vrindavana Dhama, Jaya Krishna Balarama, Jaya Vrindavana Dhama. Patita Pavana Nitai Gaura Sundara, Patita Pavana Nitai Gaura Sundara, Jaya Satchitananda Gaura Hari, Jaya Satchitananda Gaura Hari, Jaya Satchitananda Gaura Hari. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Jai Shri Advaita Chandra, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, 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 Jaya Guru Deva. Samsara Davanala Leela Loka Pranaya Karunya Dhanaga Natha भक्तस्य कल्याण गुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य अप्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि भयान्स्तो वां यस्य स्त्री वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् आराध्य भगवान् व्रजेश तनयस् तद्धाम वृन्दावनम् रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधूवर्गेण तया कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवत पुराणयमनं प्रेम पुमान् महान् श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभो मतैदं नायत्र याद्रः परः वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुत पद कमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादा सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नवनीरदनिन्दित कान्तिधरं रससागर नागर भूपवरं शुभवङ्किमचारु शिखण्डशिखिं भज कृष्णनिधिं व्रजराजसुतं राधिका सरोदेन्दु निन्दिमुखमण्डली वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्मं वृषभानुनन्दिनी वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्मं वृषभानुनन्दिनी वन्द्ये श्रीपादपद्मं वृषभानुनन्दिनी. Everybody kindly repeat. Srila Prabhupada has taught us just before Chaitanya Charitamrita, we should sing the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya. Jai Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Jai Shri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Jai Jai Shri Advaita Chandra, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Welcome to the monthly Chaitanya Charitamrita session organized by ISKCON Calgary and from the Bhakti-Vedanta Bhagavad group and Bhagavad-Vani. I'm your servant Satchitananda Das from the Niagara region in Ontario, Canada. So it is my pleasure to be very fortunate to have the association of all the devotees that are present from different parts. Some I see have joined from the United States, and a lot of them are from Canada. So welcome again to on behalf of ISKCON Niagara and Bhakti-Vedanta Bhagavad group. So today the discussion will be from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and today's discussion is based on the chronological order. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, and it's first chapter, verse number 73. So, but prior to going into that, I will take the liberty and the permission of all the Vaishnavas that I can kind of summarize this chapter, or so far what is actually happening, because it is a little bit complicated for somebody who has not really taken that extra step of showing some deep interest in regards to the Lord's incarnations and who is Sri Krishna Nandan. And actually at the summum bonum lies the service of Sri Radha and the importance of Radharani when it comes to the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is none other than the Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Nanda Maharaj and the son of Yashoda Mai, not Vasudeva Krishna, not the one who spoke Bhagavad-Gita, not the one that was born in Mathura, but this is Nanda Nandan himself. Vishwanath Chakravartipad has mentioned that in Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and our Gaudiya literatures we find that Yashoda gave birth to two. One baby girl who was none other than Yogmaya herself, and also gave to a baby boy. But due to Yogmaya's influence, because it was the desire of the Supreme Lord to cover it up, when Vasudeva came from Mathura to Gokul in the middle of the night, he only saw the baby girl. He could not see the baby boy. That was Yogmaya's trick. And he exchanged the baby girl and took the baby girl back to Mathura with him and lay down Vasudeva Krishna. Vasudeva is the father, and whenever there is Vasudeva, that means it is the son of Vasudeva. Just like in Sanskrit, somebody's name is Janaki. So what is Janaki? Janaki means the daughter of Janak, King Janak. So Janak and Janaki, Vasudev and Vasudev. So Vasudev Krishna, when Vasudevji leaves Gokul, immediately he merges into Nandanandan Sri Krishna. And then the beautiful pastimes that we find in the 10th canto, especially in Vrindavan, in Rajbhumi, that we find that were performed, where Krishna doesn't leave Vrindavan even for one step. Ekam padam nagachati. So when Krishna was about 12 years old and Balram right about the same age, Akrur came from Mathura, on the invitation of Kansa to bring those boys to the wrestling arena. On the border of Vrindavan, when Akrurji stopped by to offer his obeisances to Vrindavan Dham, at that time, Nandanandan Krishna and Vasudev Krishna separate. And Nandanandan stays in Vrindavan. Ekam padam nagachati. Nandanandan Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Lord Brahma speaks of in the Brahma Samhita and many other exalted scriptures, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I offer my obeisances to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So that he never leaves Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is so dear to him. He actually hides in the form of bhava into the hearts, into every atom of Vrindavan Dham. And it is Vasudeva Krishna who actually proceeds further into Mathura, and then he actually kills Kansa and different demoniac personalities like Chanuk and Mustik that were Kansa's agents or wrestlers, etc. And then they free Krishna Balram, they free Vasudeva Krishna. He frees his father Vasudeva and Devaki and grandfather. And later on, they move on to Dwarka, where he's known as Dwarkadish. In Mathura, he's known as Mathuresh. So like this, but Nandanandan Krishna. So we find that even in Srila Prabhupada's purports. For example, in one of the purports of Bhajahu Remanananda Sri Nanda Nandana Avai Charanar Vindare. So Prabhupada mentions that there are many types of Krishna, but we are only concerned with the son of Nanda Maharaj. Bhajahu Remana Sri Nanda Nandana. So, like this, in the Gaudiya Vaishnava literatures, these secrets are given in the Hari Vamsha, in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Jiva Goswami's Gopal Champu, Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentaries, etc. So all this is given to us. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is none other than actually Nandanandan Sri Krishna, who actually wanted to achieve something. There were two things that he wanted to achieve. One is come as a devotee, which he actually speaks the Bhagavad-Gita, and the main essence of Bhagavad-Gita is that we all know is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Shyami Ma Suchaha. Do not fear, O Arjun. I will take care of all your karmic reactions, all your sinful reactions. Simply give up all varieties of concoctions of different dharmas, but only surrender unto me, because that is considered the highest dharma. And then you certainly I will take care of everything else. So Arjun was very fortunate that he got direct instructions from Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra on surrendering. And Arjun indeed surrendered to Krishna, not out of duty, not out of karma yoga, not out of jnana yoga, dhyan yoga, but out of pure bhakti yoga. Nashtamo smriti labda tvat prasadad maya chuta gata sandeya stito asmi karishye vachanam tava. Now I have understood, my illusion is gone, my intelligence has been re-established, and by your mercy, O Krishna, and I am willing to do exactly as you say. So that is Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Tad Bhakti Uttam. Naradji in Narad Bhakti Sutra says, what is Uttam Bhakti? Rup Goswami takes the same verse and puts it in the Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. He's saying, Anya Bilashita Shunya, Jnana Karma Navrutam Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Tad Bhakti Uttam. We should not, pure bhakti is bereft of empirical knowledge. It's bereft of any kind of karma. And many people will be surprised. Yes, indeed, karma is the lowest stage compared to pure bhakti. Jnana karma anavrutam should be bereft of that. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam. This is a very key words in Narad Bhakti Sutra and Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, which is the samam bonum of pure bhakti. that whatever is pleasing Krishna, I will do, even at sometimes at my stake, where I will have to go through many pains and hurdles. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in one of his Bengali Vaishnava bhajans, says that Tomar Shebai Kashta Yadi Hoy, Shei to Parama Sukha. In your service, in your seva, even if I have to go through different difficulties, Kashta, many problems, Shei to Parama Sukha. But for me, I will consider that as the topmost joy, topmost bliss. That is pure bhakti. Anukulyana Krishna Anushilana. So this is so that Nanda Nandan came here as Mahaprabhu to preach the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vrindavan Das Thakur has described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. Actually, this Chaitanya Charitamrita, composed by Srila Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami, a very exalted Vaishnava, and he is a disciple of Raghunath Das Goswami, situated on the highest of the highest places in the entire creation, which is Radhakund. In the Nectar of Instruction also, Rup Goswami mentions that amongst all the tirthas, Sri Vrajmandal is the topmost. In Vrajmandal, Mathura is top. More than Mathura is Vrindavan. More than Vrindavan is Govardhan. And in Govardhan, more than all the other places of Tirtha and Govardhan, it's even more than Krishna Kunda or Shyam Kund is Radha Kund. So at the age of 95 years, very advanced age, he started composing this Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya means, or Chaitanya Dev, meaning Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Charita Amrita. Charita means his biography, which is Amrit, which is nectar. Any instructions or any kind of discussions or any kind of hearing of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord is Tava Kathamrit. The gopis say in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Gopi Geet song, Tava Kathamritam, Tapta Jivanam, Kavi Viriditam, Kalmashapaham, Shravana Mangalam, Srimadaatatam, Bhuvi Grananti, Je Bhuridajana. Tava Kathamrit, the songs and the narrations of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead bring us deathlessness. Mrit means death and Amrit means deathlessness. And what kind of nectar? Amrit also means nectar, because actually that Amrit, as we all know, that in the Amrit Manthan, during the churning of the ocean, there came out that Amrit, the nectar that would bring deathlessness. And all between the demigods and the asuras or the demons, and they were fighting over that nectar. So real nectar means when we are fully Krishna consciousness, then there is no question of death, birth, old age and disease. And even if we are again, for some reason, due to the mercy of Krishna and due to the desire of Krishna, like Srila Prabhupada and all these acharyas, they came down, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale. Although they are in Golok, they are the eternal associates of Radha Shyamsundar in Golok, Radha Govind, Radha Raman, Radha Madhav, etc. They are the eternal. Actually, all our Gaudiya acharyas are none other than they are Manjaris. Manjaris are very young gopis who are actually under the guidance of Lalita Vishakha, the chief Manjaris being Rup Manjari, who was Rup Goswami himself, Lavanga Manjari, Sanatan Goswami, Tulsi Manjari or Rati Manjari, Raghunath Das Goswami. So these are the foremost Manjaris under the guidance of Lalita and Vishakha, who serve Radha and Krishna in their most intimate pastimes in the Nikunja, in the forest bowers, where even the Ashtasakis sometimes they leave due to their intimate pastimes. Only the Manjaris are present. So even Sri Krishna himself, when he needs to enter into the Nikunja of Srimati Radharani, and sometimes when he's late in his meeting, he pleads to the gopis, and the gopi says, no, Radharani is very upset at you. You cannot go inside the Nikunja. So then Sri Krishna, he pleads to the Manjaris. The Manjaris are always enthusiastic about the union of Radha and Krishna. So this is a very important tattva. We are a part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. ISKCON is a part of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and we should actually know the summum bonum of which school or college of theism we have been so fortunate to be studying under. So our ultimate goal is Radha Dasyam. And when we are purely dedicated to Srimati Radharani, which is the mood of the Gaudiya Rasa, then Sri Krishna himself is extremely pleased. He himself falls down at the lotus feet of the Manjaris. And these Manjaris are none other than his divine Sri Bhakti Swami Prabhupada. Of course, his eternal position was not revealed. When somebody asked him, Prabhupada, what are you in Golok Vrindavan? What is your eternal position? So Prabhupada smiled and said, if I tell you, you will faint. But we know the eternal position of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's Gurudev, he is Nayan Manjari. We know the eternal position of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is Kamla Manjari. We know the eternal position of Gaur Kishore Babaji, he is an incarnation of Raghunath Das Goswami, Guna Manjari. Like this, Vipralamba Padam Bhuje, he is always absorbed in the separation, in the service and separation, Srila Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj. So all these personalities, Baldev Vidya Bhushan Ji, Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad, all of them, Narottam Das Thakur. So these are all Manjaris. Rup Goswami is Rup Manjari, Sanatan Goswami is Labanga Manjari, Raghunath Das Goswami is Rati Manjari, Tulsi Manjari, Jiva Goswami is Vilas Manjari. Like this, Loknath Goswami is Manjulali Manjari, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of this exalted literature known as the Chaitanya Charitamrita, is none other than Kasturi Manjari. So like this, they are very, very intimate, and they are first servitors of Srimati Radharani. If Krishna, for some reason, upsets Srimati Radharani, of course, these are wonderful pastimes, which is called Mana Leela, then everybody is for Radharani. And Krishna is sometimes criticized by them, but Krishna loves that criticism more than the prayers that are offered by the best Brahmins in the Vedas. But Krishna is also known as Uttam Shlok. In the Bhagavatam, one of the words that they use is Uttam Shlok. Uttam Shlok means Krishna is eulogized, is glorified with wonderful choice verses. But the choice verses, that even though they might be chastisement, or they may be even in the form of some transcendental abusive words that the gopis speak very harshly, and Radharani speaks very harshly to Krishna, Krishna is dying for that. That is the Gaudiya Vaishnava. We have to understand. Obviously, we cannot reach it right away. We have to be pakka sadhaks, like Srila Prabhupada said. And then after some time, when we are ready, Srila Prabhupada, who is our leading acharya, although he's not present in Vapu, he's present in Vani. He is there inspired by Paramatma. And Paramatma himself, Nanda Nandan's expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion is Shirodaksai Vishnu, who is also Paramatma in everybody's heart. So he will encourage us as Chaitya Guru to enter into the Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti means Rag means pure attachment, as in the bhav of the gopis of Vrindavan. Anuga means to follow in their footsteps. So this Chaitanya Charitamrita is all about Raganuga Bhakti. Chakshudana Dilojai Janme Janme Prabhu Sai Dibya Gyan Vride Prakashito. That when we are qualified and when we do our sadhana bhakti, minimum 16 good rounds, just not 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles: no meeting, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, and following everything that Srila Prabhupada and our previous acharyas and the sincere followers of Srila Prabhupada, when they are guiding us, we should follow these instructions to the T. And when we are pakka, perfect in that, then a new dimension will open up in our heart, which will be Raganuga Bhakti. And when we enter Raganuga Bhakti, at that time, Yogamaya will take care of us, not Mahamaya. Right now, we are under the control of Mahamaya. So like this, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has actually in the very first chapter begins with 14 verses in Sanskrit. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in a very advanced age, in a very humble mood, he writes that I have actually taken up all from my predecessors, from the Chaitanya Mangal of Lochan Das Thakur and Chaitanya Bhagavat of Vrindavan Das Thakur. And I have simply tried to give everybody, some things that a little bit more elaborately, but it is based on the mercy of them. So he actually speaks of 14 verses in the Charita. In the three verses, he describes the deities of Vrindavan. We just sang their pranam mantras. Radha Madan Mohan, who is none other than those deities that help the devotees who are in their sambandha. Three processes are followed: sambandha, abhidya, and prayojan. So right now we have to establish our sambandha. Srila Prabhupada always said, try to understand Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That is what he always harped on. So that is we have to develop a relationship, sambandha. Once we establish a sambandha, but before establishing a sambandha, there is a process. That process is known as abhidya. So what is that process? Chanting the holy names, associating with the devotees, worshipping the deities, visiting places like Sri Vrindavan, etc. Gaur Amara Sajai Shabasthane Heribo Ami Pranay Bhakata Sange Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajane Anukula. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one of the bhajans of Sharanagati, in the section of Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam, in the section where he says that whatever is conducive to Krishna Bhakti, I will accept. Bhakti Anukula Karya Karejo Shvikar. So there he in one of his bhajan, he says that he says that Gauramara Jai Shabasthane. Wherever Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, I will go and visit all those wonderful places of pilgrimage. And along with who? Pranay Bhakata Sangha. Not with some guide paying like 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees and they will just simply show you the places. No. This is one of the things. Whenever we go to Vrindavan Dham, Mayapur Dham, etc., we should select certain devotees who are Pranay Bhakta, who have understood the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, who have understood the Pranay, the conjugal rasa between Radha and Krishna. Because we are not tourists when we go. So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur's essence is. So there he prays to Radha Madan Mohanji, who is Sambandha deities. Radha Govindevji is the process. The one who prays to Radha Govindevji Radha Govindevji will bless us with the process of obtaining that pure bhakti. And then the final, which is the prayojan, where we obtain the pure bhakti, is when we actually enter into the footsteps of the Vrajvasis, when we get the bhav, like the final stage before Krishna Prema, the Ado Shraddha, Tatha Sradho Sranga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. After that, after Anartha Nivritti, we get Nishtha, and then Ruchi, and then Asakti, and then Bhav, and then Krishna Prem. So that Bhav stage, at that time, we are just entering into a very exalted stage where Radha Gopinath, who is the Prayojan deities. And then that is the Radha Gopinath. Once we are so purified that Sriman Rasa Rasaram Vamshi Vatastita Karshana Swaner Venur Gopi Sri Gopinathaya Sri Astuna. He will be calling upon us. We will have already obtained that, or at least we would have obtained that bhav, who we are in Golok Vrindavan as a servitor to Srimati Radharani. If we have followed everything properly, then we will be given entrance into the inner circle of Srimati Radharani to serve Radha Krishna in Vraj Mandal. And at that time, we will know our Ekadash Bhav. We will know what our eternal name is, what our form is, what our clothing is, what our dress is, what our service is, under which Manjari or Gopi we will be serving. So all these there are 11 symptoms that are revealed to the devotee in that stage. So that's a very far away stage for us moment. But at least if we have that information, we can work towards it by the mercy of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. So like this, he prays, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami prays to Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govindevji, Radha Gopinath. And then in the first 14 verses, there is a symbolic representation of the supreme truth, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very meticulously explains who Nandanandan Krishna is. Actually, in the first chapter, it is devoted to the single verse which describes Lord Chaitanya in his 6 different transcendental expansions as spiritual master, as the plenary parts, as Diksha and Siksha Gurus. They are identical. Both of them are phenomenal manifestations of the supreme truth. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami lays very good importance. It is not only Diksha Guru, but Siksha Guru as well. We sometimes get carried away. Oh, my Guru Bhai, my Guru sister. Sometimes when our Guru Maharaj comes, we only invite our Guru Bhais and Guru sisters, and we behave as if we are the best persons in front of Gurudev, Guru Bhai, Guru Ben. So, but sometimes we fail to neglect other devotees who are initiated by other gurus, Because at the end of the day, we are all under Prabhupada's umbrella, Chhatra Chhaya, the shade of the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. We sing that every day, but practically we have to feel it. In the Guru Puja, we say, Haha Prabhu Korodaya, Deho More Podo Chhaya, Eve Yash Gushuk Tribhubana. So we are praying to Srila Prabhupada, just like Narottam Das Thakur is praying in this Guru Puja to his Guru Maharaj Loknath Goswami. So this is what we are praying to the Acharya. So we are very important. We should never distinguish between Guru Bhai. We are so fortunate in this movement of ISKCON. We have so many Siksha Gurus, and all should be respected. All the devotees should be respected regardless who they get initiated by. That is what is a very important point in the first chapter that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami brings, that the Supreme Personality of God is Sri Krishna Nandan. He is in two parts, spiritual master. His expansions are there, whether they are in Diksha or Siksha Guru. That is so important. And both of them are identical because they are the phenomenal manifestations of the Supreme Truth. Then what else is described in this particular chapter is that this is divided into two classes, namely the neophytes and then the Madhyamadhikari devotees or the Uttamadhikari devotees, the advanced devotees and the neophyte devotees, the beginners. And then in this chapter, also the description is given of the avatars of the Lord, of Lord Sri Krishna Nandanandan, not of Vasudev Krishna, not of Mathuresh Krishna, not of Dwarkadhish Krishna. So this is very important. This is really very high level. So Prabhupada mentioned that first we should have a good grip on the Bhagavad-Gita. That is like high school. And then Srimad Bhagavatam is like graduation. And Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is the doctorate or the post-doctorate. So we will get more enthusiasm if we have studied all these things systematically or heard, or at least we grasp the essence. So here also he is describing in the chapter that the incarnations are in three divisions. The first division is the incarnations of the potency of the Lord. So Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis in the second verse of the Chaitanya Sishtastakam. So Nija. So Nija means Krishna has many potencies or energies. So the incarnations of the potency of the Lord, number one. Number two, incarnations of his qualities. So, and then number three, incarnations of his authority. So like that. And in this connection, Lord Krishna has direct manifestations, and his manifestations of the transcendental pastimes are discussed. Next in this chapter, it has been discussed by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very systematically that these are the potencies of the Lord, and the three principal manifestations are described as number one, the consorts in the kingdom of God, which is Vaikuntha, the queens or the gopis, the queens in Dwarka Dham, and the third one being the gopis, the highest of all, which are the Vrajavadus or the damsels of Vrindavan Dham, of Raj Dham. And then finally, there is the Supreme Lord himself, Nandan, who is the fountainhead of all these manifestations. Lord Krishna and his plenary expansions are all in the category of the Lord himself, the energetic absolute truth, whereas his devotees, his eternal associates or his parshads are his energies. The energy and the energetic are fundamentally one, but since their functions are differently exhibited, they are simultaneously different also. Just the perfect example is of the Achintya Bheda Tattva, where simultaneously oneness and simultaneously different, just like the sun and the sun's rays. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained his Achintya Bheda Tattva to Sanatana Goswami wonderfully. And in this, he's giving the example, and Srila Prabhupada and our Acharya, the sun and the sun rays are one. But at the same time, the sun is different from the sun rays. The sun is Vibhu. He is enormous. The sun is huge, gigantic, but the sun rays are small particles of light. They are Anu. So similarly, the energies of the Lord and the devotees of the Lord, Krishna is Vibhu and we are Anu. We are very infinitesimal. But those who are pure devotees, they actually imbibe all the qualities of Sri Krishna Nandanandan. Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Sastra Uktas Tatha Bhav Yataiva Sadbi Kinto Prabhoya Priyeva Tasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Verse number 7 of the Mangalarti, known as the Gurvastakam, that Krishna and the Guru, or the Gurus rather, it's Vande Guroho. Please note that sometimes we sing Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. It is a mispronunciation. It is not addressed to just one Guru. It is plural. It says Vande Guroho Sri Charanarvindam. Vishwanath Chakravarti. So Guroho means your Diksha Guru, your Siksha Gurus, all the Gurus in the Parampara, all the pure personalities are present in that sentence that repeats in the Gurvastakam, Vande Guroho Sri Charanarvindam. Offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Gurus. Just as we also sing in the Mangalacharan, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yuta Padakamalam, Shri Guroho. Again, it is plural. I offer my obeisances unto all the Gurus, not just to my initiating spiritual master. So these things we have to be extra, we should have that we should take that extra care to study Srila Prabhupada's translations and the purports, so that we can internally, when we are meditating or speaking these verses, we can also meditate on the actual meaning of these verses. Further, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that the absolute truth is manifested in diversity in one, and the philosophical truth is which is pursuant to the Vedanta Sutra, which I just mentioned, which is the Achinta Bheda Veda Tattva. And the latter part, it is mentioned with the transcendental position of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and that of Srila Nityananda Prabhu are described in this chapter with reference to with reference to these facts. One of the most important verses, or two verses that are very important, and I believe that if we cannot memorize them, at least we should understand the essence, what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has mentioned in the first chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is also the Samam Bonam. Just like we can say that the second chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita is the contents of the Bhagavad-Gita summarized. So similarly, he has wonderfully, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, some of the key verses are that Anarpita Chiram Chirata Karuna, Anarpita Charim Chirata Karuneya Avatirna Kalo Samarpiyutam Unata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Harihi Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadam Sandi Pita Sada Ruday Kandare Sfuratu Vyasa Vah Sachinandana. Anarpita, somebody who has never offered anything in the past, no avatar of the Lord, none of them in the past, out of pure causeless mercy, he has descended. Nandan Sri Krishna descended as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the age of Kali. Samarpayetum unata ujvala rasa. Very important lines. What is he offering? He is offering the ujvala rasa. Ujvala rasa means that which is the perfection or the pinnacle or the highest rasa that is found amongst all the mellows or the rasas that is found in the conjugal rasa. Out of the 5 mellows or 5 relationships one can have with the Lord, Shant ras, Dasya ras, Sakya ras, Vatsalya ras and Madhurya ras. Neutrality with the Lord, like the yogis. Dasya ras, like the servitorship to the Lord, the relationship of the friendships, or Sakya ras, relationship with parental, which is the father and motherly affection shown towards the Lord. And then the highest specialty amongst all these mellows is the Madhurya Rasa, as the lover and beloved, as the bhav of the gopis. That is called Unnata Ujvala Rasa. Unnat means elevated. Even Govindas ji in his bhajan, which we all are very familiar with, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan. In the last part, I think it's the second last stanza, where Govindas just says that Jaya Jaya Ujvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sat Par Kiya Bhave Jahan Vrajeta Prachar, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna. So this is the highest of the highest. It is a samambona of all the rasas. Jaya Jaya, Unata Ujvala Rasa, Swabhaktim. He gave his own pure devotion. How to become his devotee? He came as Mahaprabhu. Shriyam Hari, Purata Sundara. He came in a beautiful golden complexion, very beautiful form. Kadamba Sandhi Pita Sada Hriday Kandare. Please, always Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please remain in the core of my heart. You have come as Sfuratau, manifest Va Sachinandana. You have actually come as the son of Sachi Devi. Sachi Devi is the mother and Jagannath Mishra is the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Another very, very important verse, and I think this is the entire summum bonum of Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishnaraj Kaviraj mentions, and even the entire summum bonum of the Chaitanya Sishtastakam that flowed like a golden lava from the golden volcano of love, of Prema Dhama Eva Naumi Gaura Sundaram. But Sarva Bhattacharya ji, one of the foremost devotees in Puri, who was blessed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he composed this song after he became a pure Vaishnava, glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in different astakams. And in one of the astakams, he's saying, Gauri, Gaura, Naumi Gaura Sundaram. I offer my obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here in this particular verse is very important. What is the reason? Of course, Krishna came as Nandan came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach the glories of the holy name. Which Vrindavan Das Thakur says, Ajanu Lambita Bhujo Kanakayo Dhato Sankirtanai Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Sankirtanai Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Dijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagata Priyakaro Karuna Avtaro. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, in the Mangalacharan, this is how Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is none other than Vyasdev's incarnation, he starts the Chaitanya Bhagavat like that. That those two personalities, Gaur Nitai, whose wonderful arms they extend to their knees, Ajanu Lambita Bhujau, Kanakaya Udhata, the golden complexion, beautiful complexion, Kamalaya Taksho, beautiful lotus petaled eyes, Vishwambharo, they have come, they are the maintainers of the entire creation. And they have come here, Sankirtanai Pitaro, they are founders or the fathers of the Sankirtan movement. Vande Jagata Priyakaro Karuna Avtaro. They are indeed very favorable, and they are everybody loves these two personalities. I offer my humble obeisances. Vrindavan Das Thakur mentions that is the external reason that will bring us to the internal reason. If we chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, we will be given entrance into the internal pastimes of Sri Krishna when we enter into the Raganuga Bhakti from Sadhana Bhakti. The mantra will not change. Mahamantra will always remain, because the word Hara is depicted by Nija Sarva Shaktis, all the different internal potencies of Sri Krishna, meaning the internal Nija means it is Swagosha Nimanjantam Akhya Payantam, like Satyavrat Muni mentions in the Damodar Ashtakam, that Swagosha, my own home, my own family, my own pure devotees, the devotees that I love more than my life, that is called Swagosha. And I drown them in an ocean of bliss, or in a lake of bliss. So similarly, that Swagosham is known as Mahaprabhu mentions, is Nija Sarva Shakti. So the word Hara not only depicts the fountainhead of Nija Sarva Shakti, Srimati Radharani, but that also depicts the entire Guru Parampara, who are none other than the Gopis and Manjaris, who are the most intimate servitors of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, we call out Hare first. We seek their grace. The moment we chant the word Hare, we are offering our obeisances and begging for service to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, and all the Gaudiya Acharyas, and to the Gopi Gana, and at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And then it is Sri Krishna. So these are some of the very, very guhya or secret explanations that have been given by our acharyas. And this is a very, very exalted subject matter that we cannot be simply finished in like 1 hour or 2 hours. Perhaps it can take many months, as we had in Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group. Those who are interested, you may please, go online and go to pureseva.ca, P-U-R-E, and then seva.ca, which is the same. It will lead you to the same. Bhagavad.ca, BHAGAVATA.ca. You can see it in the poster behind me. We recently started Chaitanya Sistastakam on Gaur Purnima, and it went on for 22 weeks. So it is so in-depth. And with my tiny little brains, I've tried my best to expound on whatever little I've learned from our Gaudiya Acharyas, including, of course, from the books of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. So Mahaprabhu came as Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisha Anya Eva Aswadayena Adbhutam Madhurima Kidrisha Madhyaha Saukyam Asyaha Mat Anubhavasata Anubhavataha Kidrisham Lobhat Bhavadhyad Samajani Sachi Gharva Sindho Hari Indu, the moon of the Yadukul dynasty, appeared in the womb of Sachi Mata. And what did he do? Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, for the internal reasons of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, on Nandanandan's appearance, Yashodanandan's appearances, to glorify the love of Srimati Radharani. And what else? Aswadya. Anaya Aswadya Yena Adbhuta Madhurima. Krishna wanted to taste his own sweetness. Second internal reason. And the third one is Sokyam. Sokyam Ma. Okay, I have a message. Please send my questions. Okay. Yeah, so if somebody has questions in a few minutes, we can take those. So Mat Anubhavada, Krishna, he wanted to taste his own sweetness from the perspective of Srimati Radharani. So these are the three internal reasons, along with the first reason, which is the glorification of the holy name. So he glorifies Nityanand Prabhu, Sankarshan, who is none other than Sankarshan, Sheshnag, and the Vishnus, his plenary portions as incarnations. He glorifies Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami in the first chapter, glorifies Advaita Acharya, who is none other than an incarnation of Mahavishnu. Advaita means, Advait means somebody who is non-second, who himself is Sri Vishnu, somebody who there's nobody equal to him. And Acharya, he's Acharya because he's teaching pure bhakti. So like this, these are the different. Here in this first chapter, the Amsha is of the partial incarnations, the Purushas, the Matsya Avatar, etc. The Guna Avatars, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are explained. Like this, the Guna Avatars are under the control and they are following the instructions of Nandanandan Sri Krishna. Tumi Sarve Sareshwara Brajendra Kumar Tomar Ichhai Vishwe Srijana Simar Tava Ichha Mato Brahma Korena Srijan Tava Ichha Mate Vishnu Korena Palan Tava Ichha Mate Shiva Korena Samhar Tava Ichha Mate Maya Srije Karagar. Bhakti Vinod Thakur in one of his bhajan, that it is by your desire that everything happens, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. They follow your instructions. Then he also describes the Shaktavesh avatars, like the Kumars, the king. Examples of Shaktavesh avatars means those who are empowered by Sri Krishna. The four Kumars, King Prithu Maharaj, Mahamuni, Vyasdev himself, and of course, other examples are Shaktavesh avatar is Lord Buddha himself, and even His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, he is a Shaktavesh avatar of Sri Krishna. And then further he explains in the verses that are there, like including today's verse, is Prakash and Vilas. The Prakash forms are identical to Krishna. So, for example, we find that the examples of those Prakash forms we find them in Dwarka. Krishna had actually 16,000 wives and 16,000, he had identically expanded himself in all 16,000 forms with each wife. And they looked so exactly identical, like just how we see ourselves in the mirror, identical. And also in the Ras Leela, we find that during the Ras Leela, when Krishna was dancing, he had expanded himself with as many gopis, identical form. He had expanded himself. But the main original form was dancing with Srimati Radharani in the middle. And all the identical forms they are known as Prakash. They are known as Prakash forms. And then there is the Vilas form. In today's verse, Prabhupada mentioned when the cowherd girls and Krishna, they joined together, each girl thought, or each of the gopis thought that Krishna was dearly embracing her alone. To behold this wonderful pastime of the Lord's, the different demigods from the heavens and their wives, they all were eager to see the dance. They flew in the sky in the hundreds of airplanes in their vimans, and they showered flowers, and they beat on the kettle drums, and they sweetly beat on many, many musical instruments. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport has quoted canto number 10, verse number 30, chapter 33, and verse number 3, which is actually the Rasa Leela. Anganam Anganam Antara Madho Madhavam Madhavam Cha Antaram Anganaha Ittam Akalpite Mandale Madhyagaha Sanjagau Venu Devki Nandanaha. Quoting Srila Bilma Mangal Thakur, Lord Madhav was situated between each pair of the gopis, and a gopi was situated between each pair of his Prakash and or his manifestations. And Sri Krishna, the son of Devki, also. Now, this is interesting, very important. I just want to quickly touch on that. It may take a couple extra minutes, so devotees, please bear with me. Here it is said in the last sentence, especially by an exalted Vaishnava like Bilvamangal Thakur, that Sanjagau Venuna Devki Nandana. So earlier I mentioned that actually the Gaudiya Vaishnavas have got nothing to do with Devki Nandan, honestly speaking. Only to the point we learn philosophy from Vasudeva Krishna in the Bhagavad-Gita. But later on, as we advance and graduate and post-graduate, then we are actually fully dedicated to only one form, which is Nandanandan or Yashodanandan, or that Krishna, Kishore Krishna form, who is in the Madhurya Rasa. We are not worshippers of Laddu Gopal. We are not worshippers of Lord Ramachandra. We are not worshippers of any other form of Krishna as Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the line of Mahaprabhu, other than the youthful son of Nanda Maharaj, Bhajahu Remana Shri Nandanandan, Kishore Krishna, the 15-year-old, approximately 15-year-old Krishna, and the 14-year and 9-month-old Vrishabhanu Nandini Kishori, which is only those who are youthful in nature can have an amorous pastimes, or the conjugal rasa between a lover and a beloved, right? Just like one may have different kinds of love. Different kinds of love we have, but they are all great loves. You may love your kids, that is Vatsalya Ras. You have a wonderful friend who is just so dear to you, but that love is different from the love that you express with your kids. That love that you have with your wife is different than what you have with your parents or with your friends or with your kids. This is an amazing specialty that can only be tasted or experienced if we are entering into that Madhurya school. And in order to enter the Madhurya school, our ultimate goal is to serve Radha Krishna in that age group, so that we can actually taste what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted us to taste. That is why he is known as Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem. What Prem Pradayate? That is secret. That is the Mahabhav or the Madhurya Rasa Prem. That we are talking about. So Lord Madhav, and so Devki, so another name, it is mentioned in the Puran that another name of Yashoda is Devki. So that's why this is a secret, because we have got nothing to do otherwise with Vasudeva and Devki. We have everything to do with all Vrajvasis. So one of the names of Yashoda is Devki. This is a secret which, Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad also points out, and Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that in the same chapter, 10th canto, 33rd chapter and verse number 6. So we can touch upon that. Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that. So this is the summum bonum of today's verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Of course, time is up, and time is of the essence. So I will stop here. So these were the verses number 73 and 74, especially, where very gradually, and in the summary of the first chapter, he takes us right from the spiritual masters, who are the manifestations of Sri Krishna himself, Siksha and Diksha Gurus both. Then about Krishna and Mahaprabhu himself, who has come into the 6 different forms, as himself as the spiritual master, as Nityanand Prabhu, as Advaita Acharya, etc., as his associates. They're non-different from him, Achintya Bheda Veda Tattva. And then further, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami actually glorifies Nandanandan that he is the samambonam of everything, as in the previous verses, and also during the first initiation of our parampara. That is, Nandanandan Sri Krishna initiates Lord Brahma. That is why we are in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. If you read the Brahma Samhita, he initiates this particular Brahma, not necessarily all the Brahmas, into the spiritual knowledge by giving him the Gopal or the Kam Gayatri mantra. This is why those who are initiated into the second initiation, we have seven Gayatris. First is Surya Gayatri, commonly known, but that is Krishna Gayatri. Of course, I don't have the time. We have spoken on the Gayatri mantra itself a few years ago. If you Google or YouTube the Gayatri mantra and just put my name Satchitananda Das, this was done in Radha Desh in Belgium. So some of you all who are interested, especially those who are second initiated, we can go. The second and the third Gayatris are Guru Gayatris, and the fourth and fifth are the Gayatris of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and sixth and seventh are the Gayatris of Nandanandan Krishna of Golok Vrindavan, along with the gopis, who fulfills their desires of the gopis, just like Krishna fulfilled the desires of the gopis. So similarly, when we properly meditate, especially on the last two Gayatri mantras, then we will actually, at some point after perfection attained, we will actually get that gopi bhav. Similarly, what Brahma received through just we find on the cover of the Brahma Samhita, Krishna is playing the flute, and he through the sound vibration of Krishna's flute, Lord Brahma in the Srimad Bhagavatam first verse, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye, Brahma Gyan or spiritual knowledge was imparted to Lord Brahma in his heart. This is there in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is mentioned in that verse. So Lord Brahma was imparted that Kam Gayatri mantra and the Chaturshloki Bhagavat. The entire Srimad Bhagavatam, its essence was spoken in 4 shlokas. So in that verse, so Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami even describes the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam verses that were there in the first chapter, where Krishna says, I was alone at first, there was nobody else, and then later on everybody else manifested as my energies. So that shows that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the source, Sarva Karana Karanam, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchitananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. He is the cause of all causes. Nandanandan, he is the cause of Vasudev Krishna in Mathura. He is the cause of the different Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, Anuruddha, the first quadruple expansion that is in Mathura. The second quadruple expansion is in Dwarka. And then the different expansions like the Mahavishnus and the Guna Avatars and the Leela Avatars, etc. They are all there that are present that are all the reason is none other than Sri Krishna himself. So to summarize everything that so far, Krishna as Shyam Roop, Nandanandan, he in Golok expands himself as the Prabhav Prakash, and which is exactly like Sri Krishna, which we find in the Ras Leela, and also we find exactly the same Swarupas, identical in the Ras Leela and also in Dwarka. Then there is the Vaibhav Prakash. Vaibhav Prakash means same powers like Sri Krishna, but they look different. Like Lord Balram is the first Vaibhav Prakash. And also Srimati Radharani herself, the Haladini Shakti. She is not different from Sri Krishna, but as a different form. Then the Vilas, the Prabhav Vilas, the Vaibhav Vilas, the 4-arm Vishnu forms, the quadruple expansions, the first Chaturvyu, the second Chaturvyu, then the Swa-amshas are the Leela Avatars, Purusha Avatars, Guna Avatars, Shakti Avish Avatars, the Manvantari Avatars, the Yuga Avatars, etc. So this is Sri Krishna Nandanandan. But at the end of the day, my dear devotees, it is not so important if we can remember all this, honestly speaking. Why? Because when we perform our bhakti in such a wonderful way, as a sadhana bhakti, and when we later on enter into Raganuga bhakti, right now we have to be reminded constantly, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because we are in Maya, Mahamaya. But later on, due to the perfections following in the footsteps of of the teachings of the great Acharyas, His Divine Krishna Prabhupada and the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, when we enter and qualify into the Raganuga Bhakti, in the bhava of the Vrajvasis, then there will be an amazing transformation. When we are under the presence of Yogamaya, at that time, we will forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Yes, my dear devotees, in Vraj Mandal, nobody cares or nobody remembers that Krishna is the Supreme Personality. We just love him just because he is our lover, he is our child, he is our friend, Sakha, etc. So that is the ultimate goal. And that is why Yogamaya is so powerful in Golok amongst Vaikuntha planets and other planets, that she's 24/7 busy. Even she makes Krishna forget that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because if that is the case, then there will be opulence and there will be fear and there will be reverential treatment. Where in Vraj, there is no reverential treatment. There is no, it is everything is Krishna. The Sakhas, the friends say, you lost. So now we had already decided what the punishment is for the losing party. You have to carry the winning party on your back and you have to walk 100 yards, or you have to catch your ears and sit up and down. You know, you have to do squats. You know, so what? Madhu Mangal says that your father is the king of Vraj, and I am a son of a poor Brahmin. But you lost, Kana. You lost. You are punished. You are punished. You will have to. Madhu Mangal, when they go in Kamyavan and when they are fighting, when they have in the picnic, they're sharing all their lunches that their mothers have given. Somebody has brought some yogurt, somebody has brought some laddus, somebody has brought some makhan roti, etc. And they all bring out their gatris and they're sharing. And when Madhu Mangal sees laddus, he just snaps on them because Madhu Mangal loves laddus. Challe balle khaye Sri Madhu Mangala. Bogale bajaye de Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Bhajavaka Tavatsala Sri Gaura Hari. Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Bhogarti. So challe balle khaye Madhu Mangal. Madhu Mangal is very greedy to eat the laddus. And when he's eating, Krishna says, I did not get. And by the time he finishes his laddu, he immediately grabs the laddu that is half eaten in the mouth. And then he eats that half eaten laddu. And he takes that laddu, that uchishta laddu, that has been half eaten. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is there any awe and reverence there? No awe and reverence, just intimacy, just pure friendship. And that is the realm of Golok. Shri Akantaha Kantaha Parama Purushaha Kalpataravo Druma Bhumis Chintamani. So this is the pure land of Raja. Katha Ganam Natyam Gamana Picha Vamshi Priya Sakhi Chidananda Paramapi Tada Swadhyamapi Cha Sayatra Shirabdi Surabhi Vyascha Sumahan Nimeshardhakyo Va Vrajadina Yatrapi Samayaha Bhaje Shweta Deepam Tamahamiha Golokamitiyam Vidantaste Santaha Shiti Virala Chara Katipaye. This is the verse number 56 of the Brahma Samhita that completely enamors us about Golok Vrindavan. There is so much details about Golok Vrindavan. Bhaje Shwetadeep. Shwetadeep means the most transcendental, effulgent place in the entire spiritual domain, which is Golok Vrindavan. I offer my respectful obeisances to Golok Vrindavan. So this is that land of, and I personally like to dub it our national anthem. National anthem describes the glory of the nation, of our land. But are we Americans? Are we Canadians? Are we Indians? Are we? That's all bodily concept. We actually belong to Sri Krishna, and that is our land, our real home. And that is why I like that verse number 56. When you get an opportunity, perhaps some of the senior Vaishnavas, they know this verse. If not, please refer chapter number 5, Brahma Samhita, verse number 56. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada has given a super out of the world purport directly describing Golok Vrindavan in that verse number 56. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. I don't know what the protocol is, but if you want to open up any questions, or if it's a little late, if you want to transit into the next part of the program, back to you, Acharya Nidhi Prabhuji, the microphone.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for I cannot even explain how good it is, not enough words, but I'm fully content, Prabhu, and I hope with your mercy we could understand part of whatever you have said and carry forward in our everyday sadhana. I hope devotees will be immensely helped and inspired with your words. So we have still 11 minutes to go. So instead of closing Kirtan, if devotees has any questions to ask to Prabhuji, I rather will go in that route than going for further Kirtan, or Prabhu can end it up with Kirtan, whatever you like, Prabhuji. It's up to you.
Prabhuji, it's up to you totally. If there is not much of a restriction of a time, and if you want to enter it in, and those who want to stay back, it's totally, that's what we do at Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad Group. We try to satisfy all the devotees. Of course, if this is a temple environment and if there's an arti or prasadam involved, then we have to stick to the time. If not, those devotees who want to stick around, they can do so with the permission of Acharya Didi Prabhu. And if they want any further clarifications, or if there are any comments or whatever, or 15 minutes we can dedicate to the question answer session. Acharya Nidhi Prabhu, these are the two propositions from my side. Please go ahead and tell us which one, 15 minutes, or I have no issues in staying back with devotees if they are interested in any further.
Prabhuji, you are our guest. You are Otithi Rupe Narayan. So whatever you like, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhuji, we'll see how much we can, keeping conscious of the time. So I see one hand raised here from the audience, and that is Pitambar Prabhu. Pitambar Prabhu is a wonderful devotee. I recognize him. He's from the Stouffville congregation. Pitambar Prabhu, you may go ahead and unmute yourself, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danvat Pranam, always Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, Danvat Pranams to you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to ask questions. First of all, very nice class, Prabhu, on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. In fact, Chaitanya Charitamrita itself is sweet, as you said, postgraduate, and then it adds more sweetness when it is spoken or described in detail by a Bhagavata, like yourself, Prabhu. So wonderful.
Please don't do that. I know you love me. I know you have a lot of affection for me, but I'm not a Bhagavat, Prabhu. I know I have a lot of weaknesses in me. I'm just trying to represent the true Bhagavats, by speaking everything as it is. But thank you for your kindness. I just have to clarify, please, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, the question, first of all, the differentiation of Nandanandan and Vasudev Nandanandan is so nice, Prabhu. So nice to listen. I heard earlier, but it's again better to refresh our memories. And then you said that Nandanandan is the one who came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's also a very good piece of information. Now, I wanted you to confirm two questions, Prabhu. First is that Nandanandan Krishna, the Damodar Leela is Nandanandan Krishna. I just want you to confirm. That's question one. And in that event, versus all the supernatural thing like killing of Rakshasas and all is done by Vasudeva Krishna. That we know.
Yes.
So the first question is if you can confirm Nandanandan Krishna is the one who is in Damodar Leela, or Damodar Leela is Nandanandan Krishna?
Yes. Namami Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam Lasata Kundalam, where? Gokule Brajamanam, in Gokul. So there is no Vasudeva Krishna in Gokul. Of course, he's present in Nandanandan Krishna because he has merged on that night when Vasudeva came. So 100% Nandanandan Krishna is the one that Satyavrat Muni is mentioning in the Damodar Ashtakam. And that is the reason why we Gaudiya Vaishnavas sing the Damodar Ashtakam with such gusto and enthusiasm. Because again, those who would like to, just because we have brought the Damodar Ashtakam up, last year in Kartik at Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad Group, we did 8 weeks just elaborately on the Damodar Ashtakam. And it brings about, so it is there on the bhagavad.ca or pure.ca website. If devotees would like to take advantage of that, then please later on log in. So that is the reason why Gaudiya Vaishnavas have shown interest. Actually, Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami in particular have made commentaries, and an entire chapter has been dedicated on this Dambandhan Leela by Jiva Goswami in the Gopal Champu. And in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami in his Tika or his commentary, he has actually given each and every word of the Damodar Ashtakam in Sanskrit by making his own Sanskrit verses and then explaining. And the reason why the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are interested, although Satyavrata Muni starts with the Nandanandan and Vatsalya Ras, later on he graduates into the bhav of the gopis. That is why in the last verse he is actually asking, right from verse number 6, Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabho Dukkha Jaladdi Magnam. From those verses till the last verse, Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Ananta Leelaya Devaya Tubhyam. So he offers obeisances to Radhika because now his interest in Vatsalya Ras has diminished. His interest in any other ras has diminished. Now he wants to enter into the Madhurya Ras. So therefore he is begging mercy from Srimati Radharani. So this is a top secret that Sanatana Goswami has shared in his commentaries on Damodar Ashtakam. Otherwise, we have nothing to do with Vatsalya Ras as such, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So that gives you, I hope that gives you 100% confirmation and 100% based on scriptural evidence in our acharyas that the one that Satyavrata Muni is referring to is that opulent Sri Krishna in Gokul. Krishna is opulent everywhere, and we are not talking about that opulence as in terms of awe and reverence. That opulence in terms of how he is amazingly attracting the gopis. That is a great opulence. The opulence of Golok Vrindavan, Swarup Damodar Maharaj during the Hera Panchami festival, during the Rath Yatra, and Srinivas Acharya, they have a debate. Srinivas Acharya represents Lakshmi Devi, who is Vaikuntha. When they come to the Gundicha Mandir and they have a fight where Lakshmi Devi and her associates are whipping so that because Krishna has not come back to Vaikuntha, he is still in Vrindavan. She is upset. So then at that time there is a nice debate between Srinivas Acharya, who is of course a Gaudiya Acharya, but he at that time, to enhance the mood of Mahaprabhu, he takes the side of Lakshmi Devi as if he is a Vaikunthavasi. And Sarup Damodar Goswami is none other than Lalita Sakhi. They both have wonderful dialogue where Srinivas Acharya says, oh, what is there in this Vrindavan? All trees and shrubs, and our Vaikuntha is so opulent. Look at our Lakshmi Devi, bedecked in gold and jewelry and diamonds and emeralds. So then Sarup Damodar Goswami says, the opulence of Vaikuntha is not even a drop of the opulence of Golok Vrindavan. What are you talking about? And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a wonderful smile seeing both his devotees, Srinivas Acharya and Sarup Damodar Goswami, wonderfully. And Mahaprabhu, of course, agrees with Sarup Damodar Goswami. So there are two kinds of opulences. There's no other opulence greater than the opulence of Golok Vrindavan, because that is the summum bonum of everything. Om Janmadi Yasya. Everything emanates from Sri Krishna. So the opulence of Vaikuntha, where did it come from? It came from the original Nandanandan. His expansion of the expansions are residing in Vaikuntha. So the thing is, 100% Prabhuji, be rest assured, it is Nandanandan Sri Krishna, Yashodanandan that Satyavrata Muni is talking about in the Damodar Ashtakam.
Thank you.
Second
Thank you
question,
so much.
yes, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Thank
And
you
then
so
I will
much.
take a question from, there's another hand raised from, it says number 1. We don't have a name. So if you can please be ready by unmuting yourself in a few minutes after I finish with the second question of Pitambar Prabhu. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhu. Absolutely, that's very convincing. And that's what I was thinking, but I just wanted you to confirm that Damodar Lila is Nandanandan Krishna. So Prabhu, follow-up question is, how about Putana pastime? Putana pastime, is it Nandanandan Krishna or Vasudeva Krishna, Prabhu?
Very, very good question and a tricky question. Tricky question. It is actually Nandanandan. It is Nandanandan. Because we find the answer in Sukdev Goswami when he ran away from home after he appeared, and Vyasdev followed him And he did not stop. Yam pravrajantam anupeta peta krityam dvaipayano virakatara ajuhav. That famous verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. Oh, my dear son, please stop, please stop. I still have to finish your reforms, your janoi, your Brahmanical thread, and give you the sanskaras. But he did not listen. He went in the forest thinking that I don't want anything to do with Maya. If I go back, I will be enamored by Maya. Although Krishna assured him, you will not be encompassed by Maya. But when he was going into the forest, he heard some common villagers play, and they were singing that song. And then he suddenly stopped. And I forget the actual Sanskrit verse, but the essence is that how merciful Sri Krishna is, that she who came in the form of a demoness, Krishna awarded her, because of her bhav as a mother, as a dhatri, he awarded her the residence in Golok Vrindavan. So Vasudeva Krishna cannot award residence in Golok Vrindavan. Kamva Dayal, the last three words in that last line were Kamva Dayal. Where can we find such a merciful personality? Where can we find such a merciful personality? And after hearing that, he said, who taught you this? So our Guru Vyasadeva. Oh, really? So then he went back. Oh, this makes sense. I want to learn all this. So he goes back to his father, and that's where he learns Srimad Bhagavatam, and he's the second speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, most of you all know the first speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam is Lord Shiva himself. And then Sukadeva Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So that is the reason why it is said. Now, there might be some Leela Bhed in this. Some may say it because most of the demons were killed by Vasudeva Krishna. Krishna, when he was taking the life air out of Putna, he closed his eyes. He didn't want to see it because he said, I'm going to kill her. And if I kill her, I don't want to see a motherly personality die like this. So there are some reasons that our Acharya, we don't have the time to go into all those details, but there are some discussions on this. But personally, I feel it was Nandan Krishna. Otherwise, most of the demons that are killed by Vasudeva Krishna, they enter into Brahma Jyoti and they get Sayujya Mukti. They do not get residency in Golok Vrindavan. So Golok Vrindavan, Nandan Krishna is capable of giving, or his pure devotees are able to give us Golok Vrindavan. Nobody else can give us Golok Vrindavan. So I hope that answers your query, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very, very convincing. I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So I see there was a hand up. Where is number one? The personality number one. I don't see that Prabhuji or Mataji, whoever you are, anymore. So if somebody else wants to open up their microphone, just raise your hands, or we can just unmute all, and one at a time they can come in. I think I unmuted everybody. So if anybody else has a question or two.
Hare Krishna, Ramesh Prabhu.
Yes, Ramesh Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Ramesh
Krishna,
Prabhuji,
your
a wonderful
lecture was...
devotee from
Yes.
Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
Yes.
I was so happy that your lecture was so interested and very much. Thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow in Sunday program. Thank you very much. I was so happy to listen you for all the time. And thank you very much.
All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for your association. Yes. Any devotees from the Calgary congregation, please, bless me.
Hare Krishna, Rampal Prabhu, you had a question before. You were asking how to get more information about Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group. So you can ask Prabhu if you have any questions.
Hare Krishna, Ram Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it was a great lecture. So it was like a way above my level to digest all, but I try my best to see how much I can gather. But I was very interested to see. Meanwhile, I looked at your website, just trying to understand what kind of activities normally you perform that way. I can get a little more, like I would say, the selfish word, I can get more benefit myself being part of this group. So
Oh.
can you enlighten a little more on it, please?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it's very simple. What we do is we meet every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
And tomorrow I won't be speaking. There will be another senior Vaishnava. His name is Vaishnav Das Prabhu from the Niagara region. I have invited him to speak. And I also conduct Bhagavatam classes in my mother tongue, which is Gujarati. So Mondays, for those devotees who are in Gujarati, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, I conduct Bhagavatam in Gujarati. And of course, special occasions, mostly the lectures are in English. If you go onto the website, there is the two orange buttons. One orange button says lectures, and the second orange button says events. These are two round buttons. If you click on events, it will tell you what will happen the following week, or the most immediate program. And if you click on lectures, there are again divided into subcategories, all lectures, so date wise, and then there are lectures in English that are topic wise and date wise. So if you examine once you go into the lecture tab, I would highly recommend study the web page itself. It is very self-explanatory, and there are many topics on seminars on some very important topics for us, which are mentioned in the seminar section of the English seminars of the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group. For example, you will find that in the seminar section, there is just to quickly open the website here again in front of everyone. Actually, let me do a quick share screen, and then Nandaran Prabhu, I will come to you in a minute. Prabhu, I see your hand. Please bear with me. So I'm going to just quickly share the screen. So maybe that will help everybody navigate. So this is the home page. This is on the computer, but this is the same thing that you will see on the mobile application page. And I think, okay, there we go. So this is the home page. And here on top, there is also Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group you can join. So you can click that and you can join the Bhagavad group so that you automatically in the WhatsApp group. And then we find that there's video lectures and events. So video lectures, click here, and events. So events will tell you what's happening tomorrow and possibly next week once we update it. And if you go to the video lectures, you will find here that all lectures are date wise. So when you click here, you will find the most updated lecture that was on Bhagavad-Gita as it is, that was done last Wednesday in another ISKCON group that I was invited, everyday Harinam chant, that was done on Wednesday, chapter 70. So in the month of September, then last Monday was Gujarati Bhagavad Katha. And then last Sunday was Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book that we have been studying, known as Sharanagati. So 6 sessions have been completed. Next Sunday, I will be going into the same branch, but it will be session number 2. So like this. And then if those who are interested just in particular topics, if you just go back to video lectures and then you go a little bit down, it says English topic seminars. So Chaitanya Sistastakam, Sharanagati. Sharanagati is the process of full surrender of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srimad Bhagavatam, certain lectures. Damodarashtakam, Gopi Geet, Gurvastakam, meaning the Mangalarti. Janmashtami 2021, Janmashtami 2020. And then there are other lectures as well. Radha Ashtami, Rath Yatra, pastimes of Lord Jagannath, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's glorification, Srila Prabhupada's glorification. So in that you will find based on the topic. So Chaitanya Sistastakam, for example, we have right now total of 22 parts. So there were 22 weeks. And so if one wants to follow a particular subject, then they can go simply into the video lectures and then choose the topic as they please. So, and then those who are Gujarati speaking, there are Gujarati lectures all date wise and Gujarati topics and seminars. Of course, this is mentioned in Gujarati. So right now we are in the 6th canto of the Ajamil Katha. So that has been going on for 47 weeks now in detail. And then prior to that, there was Bhishma Stuti, the prayers of Bhishma Dev. Prior to that, there was Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. And then there was some different lectures in Gujarati. And then we still have to update. Right now, I'm very thankful to Pankit Prabhu, who is one of our leading technical persons in the group, who has helped with the website. So we are still formulating and putting, I've got many lectures from the past, so they have to be uploaded on YouTube. So there are quite just 2 or 3 lectures that we find in Hindi, but I do have several. So there was in Kartik in Vrindavan Dham, I had spoken on Damodar Ashtakam. Also in Hindi, I had spoken in Toronto, Sistastakam. And then there's a topic on vegetarianism and prasadam. What is prasadam and what is vegetarianism in Hindi? There was a 3-hour lecture in Hindi in Chicago, but there are much more. But the English lectures are sufficient enough, I believe so at the moment. So devotees can join. You can join Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group by clicking on the tab on top. It is self-explanatory. So everybody is welcome. Obviously, this is not my doing. It is His divine grace and His sincere followers who are simply guiding me. And I am simply a servant of the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group. So Ram Prabhu, I hope that kind of helps your query. Thank you for
Hare Krishna. That was a great. Thank you so much.
Yes. So always remember it is 5 p.m. Eastern time. So that will be mountain time would be at about, I think, 2 hours behind. That would be 3 p.m. Nandpran Prabhuji, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Prabhuji, if you can unmute yourself and if you would like to. Nandpran Prabhu is a wonderful Vaishnava. He's actually joining us from Vrindavan Dham. He's a doctor and he's a good friend of mine, always very encouraging, a very Rasik Vaishnava. And I'm always happy to have his association. Go ahead, Nandpran Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Thanks for a very comprehensive class, especially highlighting about the 2 verses of Anarpit Charim and Ajana Lambita Bhujo, describing the identity, qualities, and the actions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I have one question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I hope I'm not going to be put in a spot. No guarantees that I will be able to answer your question. There's on every medication, what do you call, vial, there is also a warning about the side effects or what the medicine cannot do. But I will try, Prabhuji, with your blessings and the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. Go ahead.
What is the basic difference between Nanda Nandan and Vasudev Nandan, Prabhuji? Because when Vasudev Nandan merges with the Nand Nandan in Gokul, and usually we see when somebody merges in the other, especially when the two merges in the Brahma, so their existence is no more actually. So
I'm sorry, I think, Prabhuji, the last part, it was not clear. Perhaps your microphone or your instrument was shifted a little bit. If you can speak directly, yes.
I'll repeat, Prabhuji. What is the difference? What is the difference between Nanda Nandan and Vasudev Nandan, basically?
Basically, the difference is Nanda Nandan is Yashoda Nandan, the child of Yashoda. Even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, if we read carefully, it says Nanda Tanaya, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Doesn't say Vasu, the son of Vasudev. So the son of Vasudev had a job. As soon as he came in, 12, 13 years, he went into hibernation, sort of, by merging into Nanda Nandan. Then his Leela started once he went to Mathura. And that's when he came out. And most of the Leelas that were done, including speaking of the Bhagavad-Gita, the Leelas in Mathura, Leelas in Dwarka, the 112 years or 113 years of Leela were all performed by Vasudeva Krishna. And so the thing is, That's the main difference. Vasudeva Krishna is an expansion of, in Golok Vrindavan, Nandanandan Krishna, he expands on the right as Baldev Prabhu, as his Vilas Vaibhav. And then he in turn further expands into, he is the cause of all causes. Actually speaking, he is the one who creates the entire creation, Baldev Prabhu. From Baldev Prabhu, in Mathura and Dwarka, there are two quadruple expansions, Vasudev, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshan. Now, from the Mul Sankarshan, and there emanates the, so Vasudev is a expansion and the expansion of Nandanandan. And he has got 60 super excellent qualities, whereas Nandanandan has got 64 super excellent qualities. Madhurya Venu, Madhurya Rupa, Tribhanga Lalitam, and Madhurya Leela. Vasudeva Krishna doesn't, of course, all pastimes are sweet about Krishna, but none other, as Vallabhacharya ji explains in his Madhurastakam, Adaram Madhuram, Vadanam Madhuram, Madhuradi Pater Akhilam Madhuram. So everything about Nandanandan Krishna is very sweet. Everything, even whether it is stealing or whether it is kidnapping or even whatever, or whether it is delivering someone, Haranam Madhuram, Taranam Madhuram, Madhuradi Pater Akhilam Madhuram. So that's the sweetness. There's no sweetness compared in any other incarnation as that of Nandanandan. So that makes him stand apart with 64 super excellent qualities. And Vasudeva Krishna is an expansion of the expansion of Nandanandan, so that Nandanandan can actually fulfill his desire. Nityo Nityanam, Chetanos Chetanam, Eko Sham, Bahuda Vidhati Kaman. So he expands and expands himself for his own pleasure, and at the same time for the purpose of the devotees eventually to have great pleasure, either by speaking about him or hearing about him or entering into his pastimes, etc. So in a nutshell, this is the difference. And I hope you were satisfied, Nandpran Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
All glory to Shri Prabhupada. Thank you. Jai Vrindavan Dham Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anybody else who would like to express anything that they have in their hearts before we end the program today? Or please feel free to unmute yourself. Okay, so Acharya Nidhi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad.
Dhanavad Prabhuji. So should we conclude here, or could I do a couple minutes of kirtan, or whatever you want, Prabhuji? I don't want to kind of interrupt your protocol.
The only thing is, Prabhu, some of the devotees has been all day along. So
yeah, you had a 12-hour kirtan today. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the Mataji, Juhi Mataji has been relentlessly serving this program whole day. So I think we should end here, and we definitely invite you again, Prabhuji. We have to listen from you again and over again, and I hope you will respond to our call anytime we wish.
I'll try my best, Prabhuji. Just let me know little Dhanavad Prabhuji, a little bit in advance, so there is no conflict with other programs. And it will be my pleasure to serve His Divine Grace Prabhupada through wonderful congregations all over the world. That Krishna Prabhupada has just simply given us.
We had a desire to bring you actually 3 months before, but we started in person. So ended up with going back to our online program now. So we hold this 6-hour kirtan actually extended to online 12 hours every month last Saturday. So if it happens, we'll call you, Prabhuji, if your availability is there again.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
So everybody, please chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. His Grace Satchitananda Prabhu ki.
Srila
Srila
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada
Gurudev
ki.
ki jai.
Sai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Ananda ki. 6 hours to 12 hours Kirtan ki jai.
Jai.
We'll meet again in the last day of October, which is last Saturday of October is 30th of October next month. So I humbly request all devotees, please be connected with our group, and hopefully we'll call this exalted personality, His Grace Satchitananda Prabhu, again and over again to listen from him. Thank you very much again.
Thank you all that were involved in this program, the 12-hour
Hare
kirtan,
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
the persons in the admin, ISKCON Calgary, persons who have relentlessly worked hard in the background for the Zoom, and from Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad Group, special thanks to Pankit Prabhu, who has always very nicely, helped us with the IT needs. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. All
Hare
glory to
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Pranam Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I can end the meeting?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Devi
Krishna.
Mataji, Surendra Prabhu, Saroj Mataji, Rajesh Joshi Prabhu for their all day long service. And of course, I mean, we are enjoying the day, and we hope we could extend, listen more from Prabhu, but we'll definitely call Prabhu again. Hare Krishna.
Hare
God bless you,
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
ISKCON Calgary Dham ki jai.
Jai. Prabhuji, your deities are Radha Madhav, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Srinathji also. Yeah.
Jai Radha and Srinath.
Glorified already. Yeah. No. Nice.
Yeah. I was just making sure I did not make a mistake.
No. You did very nicely, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Beautiful.
You're so enlivened with your everything. Thank you so much for your
Hare
time.
Krishna. Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Pancha Kalpataro Vyascha Kripa Patiram Pavane Vaishnave. Namo Namo.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna.